in the corner over there.
Or are we not live? Oh, there we go.
Go, Josh.
Are we live now?
Okay, now we are.
Oh, we're live, yo.
Cool. We had a whole
Intro.
fake. Hi, sorry. I fucked that up.
Take it from the top.
Yeah, take it from the top. Here we
it
go.
from the
1,
top.
2, 3. Hut hut.
Aliens on the border.
The Air Force has announced that a flying disc
That's what he was.
faster than light spaceship of the future.
By direction of the President of the United States, stay in your home.
Is it human or inhuman? Earthly or unearthly?
Born in that swirling inferno of radioactive dust, there is no word to describe them.
We may be witnesses to a biblical prophecy come true.
And I thought about that the whole time.
Ignore the fourth dimension.
Is this the human race of the future?
Aliens on the border.
Oh shit! All right. So that was funny. A little mishap. We forgot to hit the go live button. That was good thing is that we didn't really dive too much into it. Close the tab and then just connect or reopen it.
Yeah. Just needs to relink itself. There we go. We're back.
No, that one.
That was a static one, right?
Oh.
There it is.
Okay.
Boom. You said.
It's in the corner. Let's go live. Manage should be there. Enter.
You see, this time it automatically connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my god.
God.
All right. Jesus Christ, dude.
There's a 3-minute
I mean,
mark
it's
on
Russia,
it.
dude. It's freaking Russia, dude.
Yeah, man. We're out
They're
here
messing
getting.
with us, dude. They know we're about to get real, so they don't
For
want
real,
us to talk
real,
about
real.
that stuff. The
That's
government's
weird.
like, shut them down.
Okay. The good thing is that we're rolling.
Let's get it.
Yeah. So fuck. Where were we?
David
Um,
Paulides, ex-police officer,
David Paulides,
now
ex-police
turned
officer.
investigator.
So how much of that was captured, or should we recap?
Yeah, we definitely touch back on it. I would say,
Right.
why not?
Yeah. So fuck. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in again.
Bing bong.
4DF. That's Fourth Dimension Fridays at Cultura Beer Garden, 9 p.m. downtown Laredo, 916 Salinas Avenue. We're gonna have a whole episode about cryptids that should have happened back in January, but it's gonna happen now. So join us. And today, and kind of in the spirit of that, we're gonna be talking about some weird like woodland shit.
Yep.
Where, if you guys don't know about it, it's called the missing 411 phenomenon.
That's
Essentially, people go into the woods, like national parks and shit like that,
Yeah.
and vanish into
Vanish.
fucking thin air, dude. And we're talking about the dude that kind of curated like a whole lot of these cases together, put like a
Correct.
whole documentary together on it. David Paulides. or
David Paulides. Yep.
Paulides, whatever.
Pilates, yeah, Pilates.
Paulides.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a just a little quick recap. He was a former detective. Once he retired, he dedicated pretty much his entire rest of retirement to investigating this phenomenon. And it wasn't until one of his cases, I don't know if it was a final case, but he was investigating a missing girl. And during that time, 2 park rangers approached David, and they told him, hey, we really think that you should investigate into this phenomenon that's going on in all of the national parks. What's that message right there?
Encoding data faster.
Oh,
than
it's
user.
sending it faster than real time. You must rate limit your live video upload to approximate. Seems like maybe.
Yeah. Let me fuck with it. Keep going.
Are we still going?
Yeah, keep going.
Still going? Okay. All right. So, 2 park rangers approached David Pilates and told him, hey, we really think you're the guy that needs to investigate this. There's a phenomenon going in our department, and there's missing people that just vanish, and we don't know what happens. Like, they just vanish. And the weird part is whoever's in charge of these 2 park rangers pretty much shut down the cases and never reopened them. So David started looking into this, and again, this is David Pilates' work. It's not my work at all. If David, you're watching this, I'm a fellow villager, and I'm spreading your word of this phenomenon and making people aware, because I wasn't aware of this, and it's really eye-opening. So apparently, these 2 park rangers told David Pilates that there's a lot of people that go missing, and there's a lot of people that go missing, and some of them are found, but there's maybe like a 5% of the total amount of people that go missing that are unexplainable, meaning that they've exhausted typical police research conventions. So they've exhausted all those resources. So they brought in dogs. They lost the scent. There's no evidence. So he kind of really investigates all these cases that 5% that I'm talking about that are unexplained. That's what he focuses. So it's called, all his cases are around that. So he's written a couple of books. I think more than a couple. I think he's written I think he's on book number 8. He just released his Ohio book maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's a really good seller. He has 3 movies, it's 3 movies. It's Missing 411 and Missing 411 The Hunted, and another one called Vanished. You can find those at, I guess, Amazon and Hulu and any streaming.
What was even crazier is that out of all of these things, like prior to him starting the investigations, like you couldn't go to like any park and be like, hey, like give us your missing list. Like they had no
database,
quote unquote, no database. But you could go to any police in your county, and within the hour they'll give you that information. He started compiling like data out of Yosemite, man, and he got like 60 plus cases. When he posted that data, Yosemite posted their data like hand in hand, but it was totally like after he had done his due diligence, which is insane. And he says that that's really what holds back his case study, man, because there's no cooperation.
Yeah, there's like no data out there.
So
for anything.
yeah, apparently the national park does not keep a list of all the missing people they have. So they keep a list of everything else, going back to the early century of the, the 1910s, 1920s, everything, like who shot films there, everything to the minute list. But for them not to have the missing people list is a little suspicious. It's like they don't want that to be known in the public, and that's what he's trying to promote. He's trying to promote that awareness,
Yeah. So I got to see the first one, which is just the Missing 411, and there was like the main case that gets dissected throughout the entire documentary, which is like that young, I think like toddler, like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old, right?
2-year-old child that walked like 8 to 12 miles. Which was insane.
There's that one, and there's another one that I don't know if it may be the same one or not, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Literally the one that's like the main one where they interviewed
about 2 of them.
The one that they carried throughout the couple at the end.
Yeah, and then they interviewed the parents and shit, and everybody was kind of making them out to see like the villain and all this shit.
I mean, I feel bad for the grandfather because the grandfather was supposed to be watching the kid, and he just took his eye off him like every other case.
He kind of didn't give a shit about him.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much.
It was like, I don't know, dude, some kid.
But it's so unfortunate. So yeah, and so the people vary, from ages. Most commonly, the kids go missing, but there are adults that go missing as well. And the weird part is that, they conduct all these massive searches, man. They really search all these places when somebody goes missing. Out of these 5% cases, they exhaust their resources. Like they bring cadaver dogs, they bring, helicopters,
hundreds
search
of
teams,
people
like hundreds,
combing the immediate vicinity of like the last known place and shit.
Like you mentioned earlier, there's essentially like a case profile for like all of these people. Like he doesn't just like research missing people. Like it's a
the ones that
they all have something in similarity. Which I'll just go down the list real quick. It's the canine has no scent, which is bizarre. There's no tracks most of the time. There's typically a changing weather involved. Most of the time they're found, if they are found, they're found in places that, how you said, they've been searched and scoured like 3, 4, 5 times. They lack memory when they're found. Like they have no idea
if
what
they're
happened,
found alive.
If they're found alive.
I ran this is what I was going to tell you before I realized we weren't fucking live. I ran across a story of this family was at like a local watering hole. I forgot exactly where.
It's funny because the next one was they're found in or near water.
Yep.
Dude.
near water or boulders.
So it's summertime, right? This little girl, I believe somewhere between the ages of like 8 to maybe 12, she just disappears all of a sudden. They find her like 8 days later or so approximately like 12, 13 miles away from the area where she disappeared, and she disappeared in her bathing suit.
Bro,
They found her in a cave.
And in elevation as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're high in the mountains.
How he said earlier, it's like, that distance thing, that 8 to 12 miles, like
Yes.
traveled by like a little kid. At one point they brought in Les Stroud, that Survivor Man guy, to see if he could recreate the exact route that a little 2-year-old supposedly walked.
Yeah, within that time frame, right?
Bro, it was impossible.
It was
He's
impossible.
like, it's dangerous. Like, we're
Impossible.
gonna jump off a cliff. We're gonna this is crazy. It's too dark.
Yep.
So for a little 2-year-old to like, it's kind of weird.
And in that specific case, so
crazy.
they find the little girl in a cave, and like she not dehydrated, not really, emaciated or anything. It's been like 8 days that she's technically gone without food or water.
She's perfect.
And she's fine. And she's just like, all I remember is just feeling very warm.
They're
Or
on a
something
day.
weird like that.
Yeah. There's some interesting cases too of he has several books with several themed to them, and one of them books is about like how one of the cases the little girl was taken. So it was a grandfather, and I believe the little girl, you could just hear a distant scream, and the grandfather like was running and finally caught up to the little girl where she was, and she saw the old man said, I swear it was a big black bear that jumped off the cliff where I found her at and swam across the river. And when I talked to the little girl, I was like, why didn't you answer us? Why didn't you answer us when we were calling you? She goes, it's because the wolf wouldn't let me speak. And I was like, what do you mean the wolf? And she goes, yeah, the wolf wouldn't let me say anything. So he's all like, well, what did this wolf do? Well, where's your hat? And she goes, the wolf ate it. The wolf ate it in front. He took it off, and the wolf ate it in front of me. Well, what did the wolf do? He gave me berries. He fed me out of his hand berries. So, and then there's another case where some of the kids are found, and they say, hey, the black bear really took care of me in the night. He kept me warm. The bear kept me warm. And that's not, bears eat you, man.
Yeah.
That's
Bears will
crazy.
eat
Especially
you.
black bears, aren't they like aggressive as fucking shit?
So and then so the weird part is some people are found alive and they're in a daze. Like they're like they don't remember what happened. They don't know what
ridiculous,
happened.
right?
Yeah, it's weird. And then sometimes
And these are people with no mental illnesses. Or
no,
anything, right?
nothing. And that's weird that you mentioned mental illness because some of the people that are taken do have disabilities. Like
Right.
maybe they're half blind or maybe a little bit mentally disabled or some kind of
Disability.
Disability,
Right,
yeah. And then the ones that are not found, they're found maybe at a later date within the same track. Obvious, like somebody placed like their skull in the path of where everybody explored, like a skull or a backpack or a shoe. The weird part is some of the dead bodies that are recovered are either naked or they don't have their pants or their shoes. It's real common that they don't have their shoes, but they're always near a body of water and near boulders. Those are just some of the.
Oh, and like you mentioned earlier, which is the most bizarre part, that the coroners, they can't determine a cause of death.
Yep, they
which
can't.
is like crazy as crazy can get. And like I think they reached out to David Paulides, like the coroners, and they were like, bro, like this is something we've been talking about for a minute that people just brush off, but we're scientists. Like this is what we do. Like
it's their one job.
This is our thing, and
We
can't
tell you how people
we
die.
can't
Yeah,
tell
that's
you
their one job.
and we can't. We're stupefied with this case. Like we can't figure out what happened to them.
That's
And it's
fucking crazy.
insane, man. Like what?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a stat for like how many of these involve like a bear sighting or whatever.
Well, he has several books. He grouped them into several categories, and I don't know the stats, but it's out there. And he finds similarities, not only similarities in the cases, but even in like the time frames. It might have happened in the 1800s or in the early 1920s, and now it's happening in the 90s, and now it's happening.
like some cyclical shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking Jeepers Creepers, bro.
Yeah, man.
He's out there.
Yep.
One of the let's talk about the second documentary, the Hunted one.
Mhm.
Like, is it? Can we get into that? 'Cause I haven't seen it at all yet.
Okay.
And what are some of like the main differences between
Those
these
one
cases?
who commented, he made a really big comment on what we're about to touch on,
Right.
which is it's the craziest part about that is that these are people that are most of the time like hunting like on family-owned properties for generations that like you grew up in that place. You know it.
Yeah, like the woods.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Number one is elk hunters. They tend to disappear the most. Elk hunters, when you go elk hunting, you you kind of walk in through the woods, and you're kind of walking.
Stay strapped, Joe
Yeah,
Rogan.
It's not like Texas. Texas, we have blinds. Everybody owns land.
Just hang out.
Yeah, but no, over there they kind of travel, and that's when they go missing. All the elk hunters, for some reason, they're really popular.
There's 4 subgroups. It's the hunters, the sheep herders, and then berry and mushroom pickers.
Yeah, berries are
foragers and shit.
Foragers,
Yes,
yeah.
those are the
But these are
number one.
people that you're not there out of accident,
Yeah.
that which makes it even crazier. It's
So like
you know these
to a
places.
certain extent, the individual that's like out there like going through the woods
But they
has
know they're
experience.
exactly-
Yeah,
being in
they
the
all
woods.
they all have
yes.
experience. They're expert. Some are expert hikers. They travel doing this for a living, and they still go missing, man.
That's
Like,
fucking crazy.
yeah.
That's so fucking wild, dude.
One
One
of
of
the
like,
thi-
search parties. I used to like
Look,
40 people.
hey, and it doesn't even matter if you're by yourself. Like you can go in a group, and the people that tend to go missing are the laggers, the ones that are in the back of the if you're walking in a line on a trail, the person in the back always disappears. If you're in a group, and the group kind of, there's a fast group and a slow group, and like one of the cases, a little kid was running in between the fast group and the slow group. He was going back and forth. When one of those back and forth, he just stopped. He just vanished.
Damn.
Yeah, can you, like, it doesn't even matter. It's like
Don't split up.
yeah, that's what they say. Do not split up. Always
Fucking
go in
first
pairs.
rule of scary movies.
Yeah,
dude.
he has a list of what to do before you go out in the woods. Like, tell somebody where you're going. Have a personal locator beacon on you. Have a whistle. You have to have a whistle. That's the best one. Have a weapon. There's a whole bunch of lists. A survival list that you pretty much he gives you. And he has great YouTube videos, man. If you go to his YouTube, like, he does a case of every book, maybe once a week. And in there, he even has a special episode where he talks about what you need to take when you go out in the woods, and then how do you survive. Like, he's awesome, man. Like, he's a great guy.
Have you had any like obviously you haven't gotten missing because you're here, but I mean, like, have you gone into like any national parks in the woods, like camping
Dude,
type of shit?
I used to live in Denver, Colorado I was
nice.
out there. I lived there. I used to go hiking with my dogs by myself, and this was before I knew David Pilates. And I'm always into cryptids, right? So I went to the mystery convention out there, and he was there, and I didn't know who he was. I was like, who's this David Pilates guy, And then he started going. He took. So there's a case out there in Colorado, and he took the dad of the little kid that was missing as to give the presentation. So
Damn.
For those out here are on the fence of going to these Bigfoot conferences, I highly recommend it. You'll find so many other, I guess, connecting interests that you never thought were out there, like me with 401. That's how he gave this.
Oh, okay, they touch about different
Dude,
subjects
it's
and stuff.
everything. Yeah. So I highly recommend anytime there's one, go to it because it's not only about Bigfoot. That might be the main attraction, but there's a lot of other genres within that cryptid area. So that was one of them, and I was just amazed about my eyes were open. I was like, I can go missing? Are you kidding me?
That's fucking
All right.
Yeah.
Like you're just
The-
chilling with your family.
Is there any speculation on like what the fuck is causing this shit? Like, is this where the map comes into play that we were just looking at? Or?
He's been pinpointing missing cases that he's researched, and he's found clusters all over the United States, and they all tend to be around national parks. The number one is Yosemite National Park. That's the number one where you guaranteed, if you want to go missing, go there. Somebody, I think within this year,
Hollow Earth.
somebody connected the underground cave system, and it's like spot on.
Right.
They layered it together, and it just blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? Are you kidding me? There's underground cave system. So one of the things is it's the people that go missing are near body of water and near boulders, which is granite. Granite boulders have special conductivity power.
They conducive to electricity.
Yeah, they do. They really do. So
they're good conductors.
yeah, they are.
It's crazy.
They
It's
really
like
are.
right on.
It's spot
dude.
on, man. We're looking at it. I hope you guys
Limestone
can
caves,
click
lava
on it.
caves.
Go and just Google this. You'll find
Yeah,
it.
just Google.
What did you
literally.
Google? Just so
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
So you just put cave system versus missing people map. And
Okay.
there's-
Do it now.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Your
Damn,
jaw
that's
will
fucking
drop
crazy.
to the
So
floor.
There's about
the top
62
one is
to
the
Hey,
cave
63
look at Texas,
clusters,
guys.
man.
Texas is in there. We're not
Dude,
safe.
isn't that where Big Bend is and shit?
Yeah, that's
Right?
pretty much.
Exactly.
And around the hill country and
Hey, did you
Austin
hear that
area.
shit?
Yeah,
Because my girlfriend and I want to go to Big Bend, but
do it.
gonna take a
Stick
big
together,
strap,
dude.
dude.
I'd say, yeah.
Take a lagger.
Be protected and personal beacon locator. That's what you need as well. They're on
Some
Amazon.
walkie-talkies, some shortwave walkie-talkies
Yeah,
and
yeah.
shit. Some waka waka.
You know what? Before this, I saw that video. I'm pretty sure you've seen this video where he's talking about like 2 cases that really, really blew my mind. And this is where I say, like, if you're going to go missing, you're going to go missing regardless of what you got. Because it's that Connie Johnson case and the Terrence Wood case, the ones that occurred like simultaneously on October 5th, 2018. So Connie Johnson, dude, she's
2018.
she's a she's an ex-U.S. Forest Service ranger, like a wilderness ranger. She had retired. She worked for Moose Creek Ranger Station, which was like super like backcountry, dude, like as rough gets.
Remote as fuck.
Yeah, from the way he described it. He says like his truck took like oh no, that was another spot. But yeah, some hunters hired her to set up some camps over at Fog Mountain. So they drop her and her dog Ace off at the location. Boom, first day goes by. Second day they radio her, and he says that they heard like some weird growl or something, but they couldn't get through her. Third day they go out, and they make it out to the camp, but there's no sign of her or her dog. So they still continue setting up whatever, thinking she'll get back. She doesn't get back. They spend like the whole day searching. Maybe like an hour or 2 goes by. They contact the sheriff's rep. Oh no, they spend like day in, day out searching, and then they contact the sheriff's department. Search group of like 40 plus people come out, dude, and nothing. Plus civilians, man. So nothing. That same day, dude, and this is the crazy part. So these are individuals that have absolutely no mental disabilities.
Yeah. What part of the country was this in?
Idaho.
He just released a book there.
So yeah, he's like currently there, I think. In that same county, man, 30 miles away, in Elk City, Idaho, there was this gentleman by the name of Terrence Woods, man. And this is a guy that worked for he was a producer in The Voice UK, in BBC's One Saving Africa's Elephants, and he was in Elk City, Idaho, recording for the Discovery Cities Gold Rush, dude, in Penman Mine, and it was an abandoned gold mine. Supposedly it's haunted and whatnot. So they get through the day filming, dude. They film everything, and at the end of the shot, dude, like at the end of the night, like they're just standing on a bluff, dude, and the guy just sprints into the woods, man.
Just runs. Doesn't say shit. Just runs.
Somebody says, dude, I've never seen somebody run like that. Somebody ran after him. They tried, but they couldn't keep up, man.
And he just disappeared.
He disappeared.
Bam. They go in quads, bro.
They had cameras.
We all know what that was.
What was it?
Skinwalker.
100. So there's something that's like there's
Wendigo.
weird in the
Skinwalker,
woods, right?
Wendigo.
Well, get this on his vanished episode that I was telling you guys. He came to one hypothesis, which kind of blew my mind.
Oh, the dog came back, by the way. They found the dog.
Yeah, the dog came back
for the chick.
Yeah,
like, 10 days later, and he was
back.
in the station where she would work at.
Yeah,
but he wouldn't lead her back to him.
Yeah.
No, it's insane, man. So,
Damn.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, that's good. That's a good point. That's weird, right? Like the dog came back.
Dog came back,
dude.
Smart dog, huh?
Bro, but it's like what?
Yeah. So
the episode of Vanish.
Yeah, he came to a conclusion that one possibility could be portals.
That's not the first time that I've heard.
Because they say,
like
they fell into a hole, or like he said, serial killer, and he's like, nah, those are automatically ruled off. Because you're talking about like dogs trained for this stuff, and like they bring in more than one.
And they lose the scent.
Yeah, and so one dog's not working that day, the other one's got to get it, dude. And nothing.
Or hear me out. They got unplugged from the Matrix.
Damn.
Pretty much. That's kind of, you never know. So a lot of people say alien abductions, right? They just go up in there, no scent, right?
That's true.
Another one.
Yeah, just vanish.
Yeah, some dogs.
The portals, you said though.
Portals, man. Yeah, he did an investigation and one of the national museums, national parks, where there's a case there that he talks. I forget the national park, but there's a history of those Native Americans that were there. They just one day vanished, and
Siri's listening to you. Weird.
Whoa.
The government.
Siri,
stop. Anyways.
Turn that off.
that was freaky.
Yeah, we didn't even say anything close to his.
No, and you know what? He feels, David Pilates, if you go to his Wikipedia, it's BS, man. Somebody's in there messing with it, so people, when they go and read it, discredit him.
Oh, okay.
And he can't get anybody to fix it. Everybody can fix a Wikipedia page, man, to be correct. Somebody's targeting him, and they're trying to prevent him from giving this information out. Like, straight up.
That's fucking weird, dude.
Even
We've
YouTube,
seen this happen before.
dude. YouTube is unlinking or unsubscribing people for him, and
not even notifying people.
YouTube's
been doing that a lot to a lot of different people. At least like different podcasts and shit that I follow. That shit's been happening to them.
Well, hopefully it doesn't happen to this one because we're talking about 401. Straight up.
But going back to the concept or the idea of the portals, I remember running across this documentary that is, I believe, on Amazon Prime, that's about the Kentucky goblins. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah.
So I think it ties into there's a abandoned mine system somewhere in like bumfuck Kentucky where
They make
during
KFC.
Vietnam, I think was like the initial thing where people reported like these beings that were terrorizing the community, and they sent like a platoon in there to fight them. Like that's yeah, like legit that happened. You know, I'm sure that it's documented out there and all that. And then so in this documentary, it follows like a family that moves into a house that is somewhat close to the mine there, and then they start getting fucked with. And then the documentary kind of loses you halfway through, but it has like a very solid premise. There you go.
Yeah, that's on history.com.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Little Green Men.
The shit.
The official narrative.
I think they got it on video too. There's this guy that has some little.
Yo,
on video.
if y'all can't see this, but essentially think of Gremlins, the bad ones.
Yeah.
The bad Gremlins. That's what the hell this sketch
With big
looks
ears,
like.
big
ass.
satellite
The
ears.
eyes are like all the way out here and shit. It's like mini grays with big ears.
Well, and you know what? Like maybe you know because
It's this guy.
it does look like a
Yeah,
gremlin. There it
literally,
is.
dude.
It's a gremlin.
It's a gremlin.
It's a gremlin. It's literally the Gremlins movie.
Straight up. That's insane. But people were reporting seeing these guys. Dude. Little green man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Little Green
dude.
Man. Yeah,
Little green man.
Little Green Man.
And I think that the theory is that the Kentucky cave system, mine system, or whatever is home to portals
Yeah.
that connect to like Skinwalker Ranch and like all these other places where ley lines converge and things of that nature, right? Like do you know the name of that place where Native Americans like built their shelter into the side of the canyon walls in Mesa, Arizona?
Nah, I don't want to say something stupid.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Which one?
It's somewhere in the Midwest where Native Americans built like their homes into the sides of like canyon walls, like carved out.
Dude, I think that's the national park that I'm talking about.
Really?
Yeah, he investigated that one. Are there circles where they used to go in?
I don't know. Look, pueblos.
Yeah, that's
That's
the one I'm
another?
talking about. That's the
Oh
one.
shit! Okay, we were talking
Yeah.
about the exact
So those
same thing.
circles they did. So he brought in a scientist, pretty much, and
Mesa Verde. You see, I was kind of close.
dude, he measured the
National
speed
park.
of light
Colorado.
passing through those openings, those circles, and it's a lot slower
Then
than
it like the
outside
constant,
of
yeah.
the circle. So that clearly says, hey, if you're standing in there, you're aging slower than
Wait,
me
what?
standing out here. Yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah.
intense.
That is really intense.
So check it out. This scientist, confirmed that right now portals are being weaponized. They have the ability. The military has the ability to do that, and the whole thing is they want to just target incoming enemies, send them somewhere, like they're sending all these other innocent people,
Like Superman.
and they just go
sends people to
somewhere.